thinking as a human being, have one shared human future, how to help the Palestinian people to rebuild their future, a sustainable future. That have been said, I would like to thank you so much all for giving me this opportunity to tell or to shed light on a tip of iceberg of our tragedy, our story. And I'm here ready to your questions and to answer any needed question. With that, thank you so much.
I mentioned that Nehru in his book Discovery of India has mentioned about 1857 when rebellion started from Meerut and those soldiers were coming to Delhi to meet Bahadur Shah Zafar, the emperor. Then he mentions in the book that some innocent British men, maybe women or children, women were killed. And Nehru doesn't appreciate it. But then he mentions that the retaliation by the British in subsequent weeks or subsequent days was more than 100-fold. So I think what happened on October 7th, you can certainly, you have mentioned something about 6 hours delay and many things you can mention. And that may be probable that the way Hamas has been projected may not be true. But even if it is true, then 1,200 people, and on the other side it is 72,000 plus people killed, 2.2 million rendered homeless and at the verge of death or starvation. So I think this is a sheer display of imperialism in an imperialist war, whether it was war against the Vietnam or war on Korea. The casualty figure is 1 to 100. For one American killed, there were 100 Vietnamese killed. And then if you look at the design, why this happened, then I was reading the book that you gave to me. It's a very revealing book. Today I have written a 8-page summary of that book and we are going to distribute it. It's a very revealing book. And the basic thing is that if you really look in totality, what happened from 1917 when Balfour declaration by the British was made that we will make a home for you. But
Hindi newspaper in India. So what the future of recent pact between Hamas and Israel?
Palestinian, as an official now, talking to you. So when we talk about the Palestinian people, we should say that the Palestinian Liberation Organization, which is the sole and legitimate representative of the Palestinian people since 1974, and the one that allow us to back as political agenda on the table of the United Nations, because in 1948, when Al-Nakba, the catastrophe happened to the Palestinian people, the entire Palestinian agenda as a political agenda was removed and remained one just item, which is honor, the United Nations entities that dealing with the Palestinian refugee at that time. Until 1974, when the PLO had been recognized as the sole and legitimate representative of the Palestinian people in Rabat, and India at that time recognized it as a sole and legitimate representative of the Palestinian people. At that time, exactly, our political agenda back to the table of the United Nations.
Yes, Sushma from Ashish News, sir. My one question is this: what role might global powers, regional organizations, and civil society play in achieving durable peace? What role you want?
Thank you so much indeed, Shushma. Yes? Thank you. Please have a seat. When it came to the global power, and we used to say that if there is an will, there is an way. Back to the history, 1956, Israel, United Kingdom, and France occupied Israel, launched a war against Egypt, and Israel occupied with Sinai Peninsula and Gaza Strip. And it was continued approximately 6 months, their occupation. Then it took Truman, I think Truman was the president of the United States. Just one call phone to the Israeli Prime Minister Ben-Gurion, the godfather of the establisher of Israel. Tonight, you should withdraw from Sinai Peninsula, which is 3 times bigger than the historical land of Palestine, and Gaza Strip. One call phone, order, out, and he left. So if there is a will, there is a will. This is very important to say it before I back to your question. Yet, there is no international will to end the Israeli occupation. Yet, the international community and Western power in particular is still treating Israel, and I want you to use this vocabulary, as the grumpy, rude, spoily teenager. Let me repeat it because it's very important. This is exactly how the Western country in particular treated Israel. Grumpy, rude, and spoily teenager. If there is a will, there is no will. The main obstacles to the two-state solution, besides of course the Israeli refugee, is the terrorist community that called settlement, which is in a daily pace launching tens of terrorist acts against the Palestinians. This is the main obstacle to the two-state solution, even though the Western country in particular, the international community is still trading with them. They pay us as a Palestinian in the United Nations, and I spent 8 years in the United Nations. They used to say in a yearly resolution, this is the Israeli settlement is against the law, is not with the international law, illegal, and all of this stuff. But meanwhile, the products that was produced in the Israeli settlement is flooding their shelves, flooding their market. Double standard and hypocrisy. Till today, you're gonna find tens of those terrorist settlers is representing Israel as ambassadors and as a diplomat in many countries. If you believe that this is against the international law, stop trade with those settlements, stop receiving them, and give them the red carpet. This is very important. You cannot say that those are terrorist people, those are illegal settlement, and the red carpet is you giving them to the